Ben Vereen, Dr. Bush, thanks for coming into NPR West.
Thank you for having us.
A pleasure to be here.
You know, today in Los Angeles, the mayor has declared today National Diabetes Awareness Day.
I think it's real important for folks to realize that how do you know if you have diabetes? You don't. Well, that's not, look, we all know there's this classical list of things that were promoted years ago to say, if you have a sore that doesn't heal, if you have lots of urination, if you have lots of thirst. And those are the symptoms of diabetes out of control. But that's pretty far down the line. What we really want to do is diagnose diabetes in its most early stage. And you don't know if you have diabetes at that point because you don't have any symptoms. So what would you do? What would you do if you were a high-risk person for diabetes? Let me tell you what high risk is. High risk is if you're not Caucasian, if you're not of European derivation. There's a higher incidence of adult diabetes. High risk is if you're overweight, if there's diabetes in your family, if you've given birth to a baby over 9 pounds. You may have had diabetes during that pregnancy, and it's going to come and get you again later in life. And there are a number of other things that might tell somebody they were at higher risk for diabetes. What should you do? Very simple. A fasting blood sugar, and that means a blood sugar done in the morning after eating nothing from the night before, is the easiest criterion we want patients and doctors to be aware of for diagnosing diabetes. And if that morning blood sugar is over 126 or greater, that's diabetes. And I think a lot of patients, they may say, well, I'll take a pill for diabetes, but insulin, well, that's real diabetes. The fact is, bad diabetes is badly controlled diabetes, and all patients with a sugar problem, whether it's the earliest stages or later on, should really have their goal to control their blood sugar as close to normal as possible and use whatever tool you need to. Diet, exercise, weight loss for many folks, pills, or insulin. And with the kind of tools we have today, Ben will tell you how easy it was actually for him to use insulin in the treatment of his diabetes.
No, it was amazing because we've come so far. I remember some years ago I did a show called Webster, and it played his uncle. And the problem was that the family didn't want me around because I had my insulin kit, and they thought my insulin kit was heroin. You see, but we've come past that, and it's gotten to a point where now taking insulin is very easy. One shot, boom, it's done.
How did people react to you in your life when you became successful? People who were from your neighborhood or family members, did they see you as different when you started getting this acclaim?
Family members, no. My dad loved TV, and I hadn't made it on TV. And he would watch TV. I mean, it was his religion. I figured it was a religion because I'd walk in and he'd be saying, "Oh, Jesus, no. Oh, my God, look at that. Oh, Jesus." I figured it was his religion. So I said, Dad is worshiping again. But when I landed Roots and I was on television, that was it for him. He'd go around the block talking about, "That's my boy. Chicken Joe, look at him. That's Chicken Joe's right there. That's my boy." It was a wonderful change, but I wasn't prepared for it because I was still into the work. And so all of a sudden, people are all around me. I said, "Yeah, wow, and opportunities are coming fast." So it's been a wonderful journey. Even with the downfalls, the ups and downs, like we're here talking about, taking the stage for diabetes. The ups and downs in my life have all been. I've learned to turn them into opportunities for healing, opportunity for taking the next step in life.
But you mentioned that you had other health issues before this diagnosis, that you had been diagnosed once before with diabetes.
Yes, it was back when I was doing, I did a show with Judd Hirsch called I'm Not Rappaport in the year 2000 on Broadway. And I got so into this character who was like 84 years old. And after the show was over, I found myself actually stumbling and falling, and I couldn't get out of the trembles, because I'd gotten into this state in my mind. And so I went to the doctor, and he said, "Well, we got something going on here." And they put me in the hospital. And while I was in the hospital, they were checking my sugar, and it was a little high. And they started hitting me with insulin, and I got tired of it. I said, you keep hitting me. I said, I know what to do here. So I went back to changing my diet, and I thought it was all over. But as he said, I had a pre-episode of it, and that's the trick. We say, they say you got diabetes, and you think, oh, okay, it's out of my system. I can go on with life, and then it pops up years later. Yeah, but now I'm on the right track. I got Dr. Bush. I got the support of the community, and I want to make you aware.
So what are you doing these days? I mean, if we read through all the things that you've done on TV, from being on, The Muppet Show, Oz, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Don't forget Zoobilee Zoo.
Yeah, all of the stage work that you've done. What are you doing these days? What are you looking forward to or planning?
Well, thank you for having us on the show, Dr. Bush and myself. I'm here today to make you aware of the fact that, I want to mention, out of those 24 million people, and everyone, every 21 seconds they say is diagnosed, African Americans make up 13% of that number. That's pretty serious. So I'm here to make you aware of that. But what I'm doing professionally is I just did a film with Shashandra Wilson.
Yes.
From
That's
Grey's Anatomy.
right, yes.
Called Accidental Friendship, which is going to air November 15th on Hallmark. It's a great film. You guys, it's an important film about the homeless. So please watch it. On that's November 15th. And I also do a thing called Vereen Sings the Music of Sammy Davis Jr. Now, I don't become Sam, because nobody can become Sam. He was a friend in my life. He touched my life, changed my life, and I kind of like to keep his music, the spirit of the man. So I do a concert with symphony orchestra, which is quite incredible. Listen to that wonderful big band sound. And I tell stories about our time together and about the period which Sam was around and what we all went through as Americans to where we are today. I do that. I do that on the road, and I do lectures, and I'm busy.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I'm busy. And I'm thankful. I'm truly thankful.
When you think about, one thing that a lot of people are thinking about right now is education of arts in the schools, not just in art schools, but in all schools.
Important, because we found that through testing that young people seem to learn more, and they're more open and receptive to learning if they're given an arts subject in their studies. And we did this test with very young preschool kids, we saw that those who were not given the art class had a tougher time with their learning and accepting learning. But those who had the arts were open and receptive to it. So yes, it's important. Please put it back in the schools. Please give our next generation the opportunity to allow their creativity to direct the future for all of us.
Ben Vereen, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.